So the other day, I had saw where Nicki Minaj was saying that somebody was using her, well, really three people was using her American Express card and it was not authorized. But I'm just like, on the one hand, if you know the people, is it still fraud? And so I was just like, man, I really wonder if American Express is going to allow her to dispute those charges. But it also got me to thinking, y'all, the other day, I had a fraudulent charge on my Navy Federal Gold prepaid card. On a prepaid card. I'm just like, how do you do a fraudulent charge on a gold prepaid card? I'm like, y'all, that is crazy. So you'll have to let me know in the comments. Have you ever had fraudulent charges on your credit card? Well, in this video, I wanted to talk about how we can make sure that we don't have any fraudulent charges on our card. And if it does happen, what can we do? Let's get into it. So, y'all, the other day, I had got a text message from Navy Federal stating that it had the card number, but I'm just like, man, I don't even recognize this card number. And I think it wanted me to click on something, but you already know, especially with all these phishing and, these scam text messages and email, I'm just like, I ain't about to be clicking on this. So I called Navy Federal first. And they was like, well, they don't see anything because I had got the text message while I was out. And I wanted to go ahead and call because I didn't want to be waiting around, especially if I'm supposed to be getting some kind of fraudulent charge on my card and I didn't know which card it was. So I called Navy Federal and they was just like, well, no, they don't see anything. And I said, okay, well, maybe it might be my gold prepaid card. But since I didn't have it in my purse, I was just like, well, just transfer me over there. So y'all, they transferred me over there and I'm just like, y'all, it was probably like 40, 30 or $40. But on the same hand, that's still crazy. Because it's just like, you would never, in my mind, I wouldn't think that that would happen on a prepaid card. And then even last year, I want to say on my American Express Hilton Honor Surpass, I had a fraudulent charge and it was in Vegas, but I was here. I went in Vegas at this time and it was at a restaurant. And I was just like, dang, that's crazy. I'm like, and it was like $100 or something like that. I was just like, wow, this is really crazy. So, especially with us having multiple credit cards, how can we ensure on the front end that it doesn't happen? So, one, you'll have to let me know, do you ever lock any of your credit cards? And so I know on a lot of the credit cards now, you can lock it if you're not spending any charges on that credit card. And so I think that's a great way to make sure that we can protect our card. Number two, especially if we get a text message, email, and sometimes you can even get a call, especially now with the emails, the spam emails and text messages. I don't know that I would click on anything in those, but I would call that creditor pretty quickly. So like I'm saying, for me, it was Navy Federal. And so I called them real quick so that they could, cancel it. And I let them know it wasn't me. And y'all, they sent me a card. I had a new card in like 3 days. And so that was really good. And they reversed it. So we want to call and make sure that we let them know, because if we don't call them within so many days, then really you won't be able to reverse that charge. So we want to make sure that we're calling them. But then also we want to make sure that we are taking a look at our accounts, because I'm just like, on the one hand, Nicki Minaj was saying it was like 5,000 and 3,000 and 8,000. I'm like, dang, if I get a charge on my credit card, like that was $30. But then that one time it was my American Express, it was like $100. And so I called them with the quickness. So we always want to be making sure that we taking a look at our statements. And even for me, I got 14 credit cards. So I take a look at all my statements, to see what's going on. Cause it was like today I was checking my, I want to say it was my city. And I had this $35 charge on there. And I'm like, what is it? Cause it really didn't make sense as to what it was. And I'm like, y'all, I was about to call them so fast and be like, this is a fraudulent charge. But then I was like, okay, I think it's right. So I didn't call them. But it's just like, seriously, we have to make sure, especially with the holidays coming around the corner, and you already know how it is sometime around the holidays. So we want to make sure that we are protecting our credit cards, but then also protecting our checking accounts. Especially with our checking accounts, we don't want to be messing up our money to where we can't pay our regular bills and stuff. So, one, we can lock our cards. Two, if we think that it's something that's fraudulent, if we get a text message or email, then we want to call the creditor. But then three, we should be periodically checking our accounts so that we make sure, okay, if this is a fraudulent charge, I can get with them. Because y'all, I don't know how it be happening, because it's like you'll have your card in your pocket and then they done charge in Florida or New York or somewhere, and I'm in Nashville. How did you charge my credit card or my checking account? Because it happened on my checking account one time when I was at Bank of America. So we just want to make sure that we're taking a look at that. Now, you can also do fraud alerts and credit freezings with the credit bureau. So you got Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Now, the only thing is, it's not going to help for the day-to-day on our credit cards. So that's why we would want to lock our credit cards so purchases can't come through. But credit freezings would be able to help if somebody's trying to open up a credit card or anything else with our credit. And so that's not a bad thing to do. But the only thing is, it could be a little bit of a hindrance if you are trying to open up credit and stuff like that. So you would just want to make sure that you are saying, well, maybe within these 6 months, I'm not going to open up any new credit cards. And so I'm going to go ahead and lock it. But then if you are going to open up a new credit card or you're going to buy a house or a car, just make sure to unlock the credit. But you'll have to let me know in the comments, has that happened to you where you have had fraudulent charges? And if you did, were you able to dispute it and get your money back? Let me know in the comments. And also if you have any tips or tricks as well. But I hope that this video was helpful. Please like, subscribe, share with a friend, and turn your notification bell on so you'll be notified when new content drops. I thank you so much for watching. Until next time, we want to make sure that we got our finances in order for 2026. And so you'll have to go and check out my digital budget planner on my Etsy shop. Y'all, I'm very excited about it. You have your monthly budget, you have your debt repayment and your debt tracker. I'm very excited. I added a bingo savings planner to where you can put a few other things that you're trying to do. Possibly you're trying to save 1,000 or 5 or 10,000. So you can put that in there. Maybe you want to get you a high yield savings, possibly open up a Roth IRA. So you can put your savings goal in the boxes and just mark them off as you complete it. But then also you can always go over to my website and get my free budget and debt repayment template. And I even added the bingo savings for that as well. So you can drop down in the description and go over to my website or my Etsy shop.